You're standing in a valley in the Zagros Mountains, 47,000 years ago. The morning mist is lifting, and you're about to witness the most important meeting in human history. A meeting that explains why you, yes, you, watching this carry DNA from an extinct species in every cell of your body. Your ancestors are crouched on a ridge, dark-skinned, lean, built for running. They've traveled 3 months from Africa into this frozen hell. They think they're alone in this new world. They're wrong. From the mist below, shapes emerge. Walking upright, using tools, these beings are built like walking tanks. Shoulders twice as wide as yours. Arms that could snap your spine like a twig. One male stands up, and even from here, you can see he's not just strong, he's impossibly strong. A Neanderthal, and he's looking directly at you. For the next 10 seconds, nobody moves, nobody breathes, because both groups are processing something that changes everything. We are not alone. We are not unique. There are others. What happens next will blow your mind, because these two species didn't just fight, they didn't just trade. They did something that left permanent evidence in your genes. Right now, 2% of your DNA is screaming, a truth archaeology tried to hide for a century. Your ancestors looked into the eyes of another human species and fell in love. But here's what nobody tells you. The Neanderthals thought we were weak, pathetic. Our throwing spears, cowards' weapons. Our thin bodies, 1 winter away from death. They could have crushed us like insects. So why didn't they? Why do you exist? You're going to witness the impossible. You'll see a Neanderthal male strong enough to wrestle a horse to death gently splint a Sapiens child's broken ankle. You'll watch our ancestors' weapons revolutionize Neanderthal hunting. You'll be there when the first hybrid child is born, combining the best of both species, creating something entirely new. You'll discover how 2 completely different types of humans went from potential enemies to lovers, from strangers to family, from separate species to us. Because make no mistake, if this first contact had gone differently, if that Neanderthal male had picked up his spear instead of putting it down, you wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't exist. None of us would. This isn't just history. This is the moment our species truly began. When Homo sapiens met Neanderthals and discovered that survival meant doing the one thing evolution never planned for, becoming one. This is the first contact. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at another human the same way again. The Zagros Mountains, 47,000 years ago. The morning mist clings to the valley floor like smoke from a dying fire. Amara's band of 30 souls, dark-skinned wanderers from the African heat, huddle together on the ridge, their thin bodies shivering in this strange cold land. They've walked for 3 moons, following herds north into territories no sapiens has seen. Then movement below stops every heart. Figures emerge from the morning fog, walking upright, using tools, but wrong. Everything wrong. These beings are built like boulders, given life shoulders twice as broad as any human should possess, arms thick as young trees. One male stands, and even from this distance, Amara can see he's massive. Not tall like her people's hunters, but wide, dense, as if the earth itself has taken human form. A child in her band whimpers. The sound carries. The giants below freeze. Heads turn upward, heavy brow ridges, shadowing eyes that are undeniably intelligent, undeniably aware. For a heartbeat that lasts forever, 2 human species see each other clearly for the first time. The Neanderthals below, pale-skinned and built for ice. The Sapiens above, dark and lean, built for running. The Neanderthal male steps forward. His muscles ripple with each movement, not for show, but from a lifetime of wrestling prey to death with bare hands. He could snap Amara's strongest hunter, like kindling. Behind him, females and children cluster, but even their young ones are built more powerfully than Sapiens adults. Amara's people carry, throwing spears light, balanced, designed to kill from safe distances. The giants below grip massive thrusting spears, thick as wrists, meant for close combat. Their entire bodies are weapons. Her people's bodies are for fleeing. The wind shifts, carrying scent. The Neanderthal male's nostrils flare, they can smell everything. Fear sweat. The plant sapiens rubbed on their skin. The different diet of fruit and small game. These aren't their kind. These are something other. A Neanderthal child, curious like all children, takes a step toward the strangers. Its mother snatches it back, her movement so fast and powerful it kicks up dust. They're capable of explosive speed when needed. The standoff stretches. Then the Neanderthal male does something unexpected. He sets down his spear, deliberately, slowly. His message clear: we could destroy you, but we choose not to. The two groups remain frozen on opposite sides of the valley for 3 days, watching, learning. The Sapiens make camp on the ridge, exposed and cold. The Neanderthals continue their lives below, ignoring the strangers with deliberate casualness that speaks volumes. Amara studies them with growing unease. When the giants hunt, they don't throw spears. They charge directly at prey, grabbing antlers, wrestling deer to the ground. One male takes a kick from a horse that would shatter Sapiens' bones. He shakes it off, then breaks the horse's neck with his hands. Her people's evening fire is pitiful, small, struggling against the wind. Below, the Neanderthals maintain a roaring blaze that pushes back the darkness entirely. They've mastered fire in ways Amara's band hasn't imagined. Different woods for different purposes. Stones arranged to reflect heat. They cook everything. Even plants her people eat raw. The physical differences become undeniable. When a Sapiens hunter tries to lift a deer carcass alone, he staggers. A Neanderthal child, maybe 10 summers, carries a similar load without effort. Their bones are thicker, joints larger. Every movement backed by muscle mass that seems impossible. On the 4th morning, disaster. Amara's nephew, Dak, climbing down for water, slips on loose stone. His ankle snaps audibly. His scream echoes across the valley. He's exposed, helpless, 50 feet from the Neanderthal camp. The giants emerge immediately. Amara's band grips their throwing spears. But what good are they? At this distance, the Neanderthals could reach Dak before any spear landed. The massive male approaches the injured boy. Dak tries to crawl away, dragging his broken ankle, leaving a blood trail on stone. The Neanderthal stops just outside grabbing distance. He tilts his head, studying the injury with an expression Amara recognizes. It's how her grandmother looks at wounds. Diagnostic, clinical. He makes a sound, low and rumbling, not threatening, thoughtful. Then he does something that changes everything. He sits. This massive being who could tear Dak apart sits down, making himself smaller, less threatening. From a pouch, he produces something dried plants, crushed between those terrifying hands. He gestures at the ankle, then at the medicine. He's offering to help. The big male's hands are gentle despite their power. He splints Dak's ankle with precision that speaks of experience. How many of his own people has he treated? The boy trembles but doesn't cry out. The Neanderthal makes soft sounds, almost melodic, clearly meant to soothe. Amara has descended halfway, heart hammering. The giant looks up at her approach, and she sees his eyes clearly for the first time. Gray-blue like winter sky. Intelligent. Sad. Somehow. He points at himself, makes a sound. Grok. Amara, she responds, touching her chest. Grok nods, the gesture universal. He points at the boy's ankle, then makes a walking motion with his fingers. Shakes his head, then holds up fingers. Many days of no walking. He knows healing time. These aren't beasts. They're people. Different people, but people. A female Neanderthal approaches, carrying something. Food. Cooked meat, but prepared differently than Amara's ever seen. Layers of flavor from multiple herbs. She offers it to Dak, who looks at Amara fearfully. The woman makes eating motions, patient as a mother. The meat is revelation. Tender in ways their quick cooking never achieves. Flavors that come from slow roasting. From understanding how heat changes flesh over time. These giants have been perfecting cooking for countless generations. Grok draws in the dirt. Simple images, but clear. Mountains, he points north. His people stick figures, but obviously representing Neanderthals. Many groups scattered across the mountains. Then he draws thin figures, sapiens coming from the south. A question in his eyes. How many? Where from? Amara draws too. The hot lands far south, the long journey. Her small band, but she indicates more might come. Grok's expression grows troubled. He draws cold, somehow makes zigzag lines that perfectly capture the feeling of freezing. Points at her thin people. shakes his head. You'll die here when real winter comes. He's right. Already. Morning frost has taken two elders who couldn't maintain warmth. Their bodies lack the thick torsos, the metabolism built for cold. They're intruders in a world shaped for giants. A young Neanderthal woman approaches, curious. She touches Amara's hair so different from her own straight locks. Not aggressive, just wondering. Amara lets her, then touches the woman's pale skin in return. The woman laughs, a human sound that bridges all differences. But when Amara reaches for the woman's spear to examine it, every Neanderthal tenses. Grok makes a sharp sound. Clear message. Look, don't touch. Some boundaries can't be crossed. Days pass. The two groups maintain careful distance, but watch constantly. When Amara's hunters try to replicate Neanderthal tools, the giants find it amusing. The Sapiens' hands, built for precision, struggle with the heavy percussion work needed for Neanderthal stoneworking. Grok watches a young Sapiens man Jirak, failing to produce even basic flakes from a stone core. The giant approaches, moving with that disturbing quiet massive beings shouldn't possess. He sits beside Jirak, who freezes. Grok gently takes the stone, positions it correctly, shows the angle, the precise force needed. His strike is controlled power. The flake that splits off is perfect, sharp enough to shave with, shaped exactly as intended. He's not just strong. He understands stone at a molecular level. Generations of knowledge in one strike. But then Jirak shows him something. A smaller stone worked differently. Pressure flaking using an antler tip to push tiny flakes off, creating serrated edges. Delicate work requiring less force, more finesse. Grok tries to replicate it. His massive fingers, powerful enough to crush skulls, struggle with the fine control needed. They develop a pattern. Mornings, Grok demonstrates Neanderthal techniques, the Levallois method, that predetermined flake shapes before striking. Afternoons, Jirak shows Sapiens innovations backing small blades, hafting with tree resin. Each fails at the other's specialty. But both are learning. The women exchange knowledge too. A Neanderthal woman shows Amara how to scrape hides using specific angles that remove tissue without tearing. Amara demonstrates weaving something the Neanderthals haven't developed. Plant fibers twisted into cord woven into containers. The Neanderthal woman's eyes light with understanding. But the greatest lesson comes when both groups prepare for a hunt. Neanderthals coat themselves with mud, masking scent. They'll get close, frighteningly close, before striking. Sapiens remain clean but prepare throwing spears, planning to kill from distance. Each group thinks the other insane. The hunt itself is revelation. Neanderthals move through forest silently, despite their bulk, using terrain and wind. They position themselves along known deer paths, waiting with inhuman patience. When deer appear, the giants explode from concealment. The violence is shocking, hands gripping antlers, bodies slamming together, the crack of breaking necks. Meanwhile, Sapiens hunters circle wide, throwing spears from 40 feet away. Most miss, but one strikes true. The deer runs, bleeding, weakening. They follow at an easy pace, letting blood loss do the killing. Both groups succeed, but watching each other, they see possibilities. What if Neanderthal strength could be combined with Sapiens range? What if close combat power paired with distance weapons? Neither group realizes they're witnessing the birth of a new way of being human. The storm arrives without warning. Arctic wind screaming down from glaciers, bringing horizontal snow that cuts exposed skin. Amara's band huddles in their rough shelter branches and hides that shake violently, threatening to tear away. Their small fire dies instantly. Below, the Neanderthals retreat to a cave Amara hadn't noticed. Hidden, protected, prepared. Smoke emerges from within, defying the wind. They're warm, safe. Her people are dying. Two children already show the blue lip signs of dangerous cold. An elder stops shivering, the worst sign. They need heat, or they'll be corpses by dawn. Amara makes a choice that could mean death either way. She stands, fights toward the cave, her people following because staying means certain freezing. At the cave mouth, Neanderthals block the entrance. Not aggressively, but firmly. This is their space, their survival. Behind them, warmth glows. the smell of cooking meat, life. Amara does the only thing she can think of. She drops her spear, kneels in the snow, presents her empty hands. The universal gesture, "We have nothing. We need help. Please." Grok emerges from the crowd. He looks at the Sapiens' children shaking violently, tears freezing on their faces. Something shifts in his expression. He's seen children die from cold before, maybe his own. He steps aside. The cave is enormous, extending deep into the mountain. Multiple fire pits create zones of warmth. The Neanderthals have been using this shelter for generations. Walls are smoothed from countless bodies, sleeping alcoves worn into rock. It smells of smoke, meat, and something else, safety. The Sapiens huddle near the entrance, not daring to move deeper. But Neanderthal women are already moving, bringing furs thick, wonderfully warm. A grandmother ancient by any measure tends the freezing children with practiced efficiency. She knows cold, knows how to fight it. The preparation for sleep reveals another difference. Neanderthals pile together adults surrounding children, sharing body heat without shame or hesitation. It's practical, efficient. Sapiens typically maintain more personal space. But tonight, watching the giants' method, they copy it. Survival overrides custom. Young ones from both groups end up tangled together in the safest, warmest spot. A Neanderthal toddler, built like a small boulder, curls against a Sapiens child. Neither cares about species. Warmth is warmth. Through the night, the groups share the cave's protection. When the wind howls loudest, Grok tends the fires, adding wood with precise timing. When a Sapiens baby cries, a Neanderthal mother instinctively moves to help, then catches herself, uncertain of boundaries. Amara nods permission, and the woman soothes the child with those soft sounds Grok made, almost like singing but not quite. By morning, something has changed. They've slept in the same space, breathed the same air, protected each other's children from death. They're no longer complete strangers. The cave bear emerges from hibernation early, confused and starving. 800 pounds of rage wandering into the valley where both groups camp. It finds the Sapiens first. Panic. Throwing spears bounce off its thick hide. It charges through their camp, destroying shelters, scattering supplies. Jirak throws perfectly. The spear penetrates, but not deep enough. The bear turns on him, rising 12 feet tall, claws like curved daggers. The Neanderthals hear the screaming. They could stay safe, let nature remove these competing strangers. Instead, Grok grabs his thrusting spear, thick as a Sapien's arm, and charges toward danger. His people follow. The bear has Jirak cornered against rock. One swipe will open him from throat to groin. Grok arrives first, driving his spear deep into the bear's side, using his full body weight. The bear spins, catching Grok with a backhand that launches him 10 feet. He hits ground hard, ribs cracked, blood flowing. But now Amara's hunters have time. They spread out, forming a circle, throwing spears from every direction. The bear can't charge them all. It tries, stumbling, weakening. More spears find gaps between ribs. It's being killed from a distance it can't close. A young Neanderthal male, watching this tactic, has a revelation. He picks up a fallen throwing spear so light compared to what he's used to. His massive shoulder muscles, built for close combat, launch it with shocking force. The spear disappears completely into the bear's chest. Heart pierced. The giant drops. Both groups stare. That throw covered 50 feet with killing force. No Sapiens could match it, but no Neanderthal had thought to try before. Grok, helped to his feet, breathing painfully, sees it too. His people's strength, their people's weapons. Together, the bear is butchered with both groups working side by side. Neanderthals break bones no Sapiens could crack. Sapiens make precise cuts with backed blades, wasting nothing. The meat is shared equally. Both groups bled for this kill. That night, young males from both groups practice. Neanderthals throwing light spears incredible distances. Sapiens learning close combat grips. Even if they lack the strength to fully use them, they're not just teaching techniques anymore. They're creating something new. A Neanderthal named Braun, young, proud, built like a mountain, consistently outthrows everyone. But he watches a sapiens woman named Kira with different interest. She's tall for her kind, moves like flowing water. When she shows him how to aim for accuracy rather than just power, their hands touch on the spear shaft. Neither pulls away. Grok sees this. So does Amara. The elders exchange worried glances. They know where such interests lead. But after fighting death together, bleeding together, how can they maintain the barriers that seemed so important before? The bear's massive skull is placed between the two camps. Neither group claims it exclusively. It becomes a monument to the day they discovered that together, they could kill gods. Spring arrives with flowers and complications. Kira's belly shows the truth everyone has tried to ignore. The child growing within her carries both bloodlines, sapiens height and grace, Neanderthal strength and bulk. Bronze stays close to her, protective, but both groups are uncertain. This wasn't the first mixing. Throughout winter, quiet pairings happened. A sapiens male fascinated by a Neanderthal woman's strength, a Neanderthal female drawn to a sapiens male's strange songs. Biology doesn't respect species boundaries when survival brings groups together. Kira's labor is difficult. The baby is large Neanderthal bones, making delivery harder for her narrower sapiens pelvis. Both groups' healers work together. Grok's mate bringing knowledge of difficult births, Amara's aunt providing herbs that ease pain. The child that emerges is remarkable. A girl. Her skull rounder than pure Neanderthal, but with the beginning of pronounced brows. Limbs longer than Neanderthal normal, but thicker than sapiens. When she grips Bronze's finger, her strength is obvious. When she looks at Kira, her eyes show depths of intelligence. She's named Dara, a sound both groups can pronounce. But she's not the only hybrid. Within the moon's cycle, 3 more mixed children are born, each different, pulling traits from both lineages unpredictably. One boy gets Neanderthal muscles with sapiens height. He'll be a giant. A girl inherits the sapiens throwing accuracy with enough Neanderthal strength to be deadly. The pure Neanderthal children play with hybrids without distinction. But something troubling emerges. Of 6 hybrid pregnancies, only 4 children survive. The mixing isn't always successful. And watching closely, Grok notices all surviving hybrids are from Neanderthal mothers, or sapiens mothers, but only daughters seem fully healthy. The hybrid boys are weaker, sick more often. Nature has rules about mixing, not forbidding it, but limiting it. The groups must decide, prevent further mixing, separate the bands, but look at young Dara, already crawling with strength no sapiens baby has, examining objects with curiosity no Neanderthal child shows. She's not an abomination, she's evolution, trying something new. Some elders argue for separation. Others point out the practical benefits shared knowledge has made both groups stronger. The hybrids, if they survive, combine the best of both. Why reject such advantage? The answer comes from unexpected source. Grok's mother, ancient beyond counting, speaks rarely but with absolute authority. She remembers when there were others, different humans who disappeared when she was young. She speaks of mixing then too. Children who carried multiple bloodlines. This has happened before, she says in the pidgin language both groups now share. Will happen again. Is the way of walking peoples. We take what makes us stronger. The decision is made not by decree but by reality. The groups have become interdependent. Neanderthals need the ranging capability and tools of sapiens. Sapiens need the strength and cold knowledge of Neanderthals. The children, all the children, need both groups to survive. Dara crawls between the camps, claimed by both, rejected by neither. She's the future, whether anyone planned it or not. Jirok sits by firelight, doing something that makes Grok's head hurt to watch. He's making marks on bark with charcoal symbols that mean nothing to Neanderthal eyes, but send Jirok into deep concentration. When asked, he tries to explain. The marks represent things that aren't here. Animals, mountains, tomorrow's hunt plan. But why? Grok asks through their mixed language. The things are real. We know them. Jirok struggles to articulate what seems obvious to him. The marks let him think about things without the things present. Plan hunts for animals not yet seen. Share ideas with people not yet born. The marks are thoughts made visible. Grok's teenage daughter watches intently. Unlike her father, she grasps it quickly. Within days, she's making her own marks crude but meaningful. A circle with lines for the sun, wavy lines for water. She combines them. Sun plus water means the hot springs to the north. She's invented writing without knowing the word. This abstract thinking spreads like fever. Young Neanderthals, especially the hybrids, adapt fastest. They start seeing patterns sapiens take for granted. Moon cycles predict migrations. Star positions indicate seasons. Events can be connected across time, not just experienced in the moment, but Neanderthals teach their own abstractions. Grok shows Jirak how to read weather in cloud shapes, wind shifts, the way birds fly. Not just immediate signs, but patterns stretching days ahead. He demonstrates how certain places hold memory, where his grandfather killed a lion, where lightning strikes repeatedly, where the spirits feel thick. The sapiens realize Neanderthals have been thinking abstractly all along, just differently. They have names for places based on events decades past. They navigate by stories, each landmark tied to tribal memory. It's not written, but it's definitely symbolic. Young Dara, now walking, becomes a bridge. She draws with sapiens precision, but includes Neanderthal symbolic depth. Her pictures aren't just representations, they're stories. A mammoth with a mark on its tusk, the one that killed a hunter 3 winters ago. Circles around the moon. The coming cold Grok predicts. The greatest breakthrough comes when a sapiens woman creates something unprecedented. She takes clay, shapes it into a female form, exaggerated breasts and hips, tiny head. It's not meant to look real. It's meant to represent an idea. Fertility, womanness, the hope for children. Neanderthals are disturbed at first. It looks like a person but isn't. Why make false things? But when the woman explains, it's for hoping, for praying to forces they can't see, something clicks. Grok's mate has always felt there were invisible powers affecting visible world. Now there's a way to acknowledge them. Within a season, both groups create art with purpose beyond decoration. Cave walls bloom with images that aren't just animals but animal spirits. Handprints that say, "I was here to future generations." Marks that turn thoughts into something that outlasts the thinker. The children, especially the hybrids, swim in this sea of symbols. They'll grow up bilingual in reality and abstraction, equally comfortable with the solid and the symbolic. 5 winters have passed. The valley hosts neither pure Neanderthal nor pure sapiens groups, but something new. They still maintain separate camps, but share lives in ways that would have seemed impossible at first meeting. Dara, now 5, leads a pack of children hybrid and pure, both lineages mixed. She speaks fluently in the merged language that's developed, throws spears with inherited accuracy, tracks with Neanderthal precision. When she draws on cave walls, she creates scenes that combine both traditions. Realistic animals, surrounded by symbolic meanings only the merged tribe understands. The changes run deeper than blood. Neanderthals now throw spears from distance before closing for combat. Their hunts are safer, more successful. They've adopted wearing sewn clothing rather than just draped furs, allowing better movement. Some have learned the patience for pressure flaking, creating tools their ancestors never imagined. Sapiens have changed too. Their bodies are still lean, but muscle mass has increased from adopting Neanderthal diets. More meat, cooked longer, breaking down proteins better. They've learned to read weather, to find caves, to survive cold that would have killed their grandparents. Some can now wrestle smaller prey, though they'll never match Neanderthal strength. But the greatest change is invisible: how they think. The combined group plans differently. Neanderthal deep-time weather knowledge merges with sapiens' abstract planning. They prepare for challenges seasons away, stockpiling resources with unprecedented organization. Cave walls show calendars, tracking multiple patterns, moon phases, migrations, flowering times, all integrated. Grok, gray now but still powerful, watches his grandson play. The boy is 3/4 Neanderthal, but has his sapiens grandmother's innovative mind. Yesterday, the child invented something new, combining his grandfather's strength with his grandmother's weaving. He created a rope strong enough to drag mammoth bones, but light enough to carry easily. Amara, equally aged, sees patterns even she didn't expect. The hybrids aren't just mixing traits randomly. The daughters are almost all fertile, carrying forward both bloodlines. The sons struggle more, but those who survive are often exceptional, like Dara's cousin, who can throw a spear 70 feet with killing force while running. News comes from other valleys. More groups are meeting, mixing, fighting, and eventually merging. The pattern repeats. First contact brings conflict. Survival forces cooperation. Cooperation leads to integration. Not everywhere, some groups destroy each other. But where mixing occurs, something stronger emerges. The evening gathering now includes stories from both traditions. Neanderthal tales of ancient hunts merge with Sapiens myths of the southern homeland. Children don't distinguish between them, it's all their heritage now. Dara draws on the wall, creating next season's plan. Symbols her Neanderthal father recognizes mix with abstract concepts her Sapiens mother introduced. She's thinking in ways neither pure lineage could achieve alone. What are we now? Young Braun asks, watching his daughter create tomorrow. Survivors, Grok answers. The word meaning more than it used to. They're not Neanderthal, not Sapiens. They're becoming something new human in a way that transcends either original form. The first contact that began in fear has birthed the future. The children sleep in mixed piles, bloodlines tangled beyond sorting, dreaming dreams their ancestors couldn't imagine. Tomorrow, they'll wake as humanity's first truly hybrid generation. The transformation is complete. The contact that changed everything has become normal. Evolution doesn't end, it just finds new paths.